What was a moment for you that it was like your loss of naivety or more of an awakening?
For me, I feel like I grew up with my grandparents. I didn't have my mom went missing when I was very young, when I was 2 years old. And so my grandparents and my family had always taken care of me, and my grandparents adopted me, and I always felt like almost like Bruce Wayne. I relate a lot to Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Okay, so we got that's why Gotham
That's
is coming
Gotham.
up.
I've always felt like like protected, like almost like I've been like I've had someone around the corner watching me, like making sure that no one, you know what I mean? And I also feel like I've been very, what's the word when parents haven't let the kids see very many things, so that like, so when
innocent?
they go out, it's very innocent, but like there's
Sheltered?
Sheltered.
Gotcha.
I felt very sheltered as a child. Like there was a lot of things about the world that I just didn't understand that it existed and how it happened. I was raised with a lot of light. I was raised with a lot of love, but there was a lot of underlying darkness in my own family, in my own situation, that I hadn't been aware of my entire life. So when I started diving into my albums and I started to like bring up certain things that were deep in my core that I hadn't expressed really, I started to, I even got to the point where I wrote this song called Red Coat. I don't know if you've heard it, but I started to get autobiographical, but almost like from a fictional standpoint. So like telling my mother's story without all the information that I really needed to even tell it, you know? And then doubling back and finding out that a lot of the information that I was putting in my songs were things that had actually happened. You know what I mean? Things that were really true. Things like violent things. You know, presumptions of what may have happened to her, nightmares. You know, all these. This was my darkness coming out that I had no clue about.
But it was almost there subconsciously.
It was there subconsciously.
Wow.
And so it was really, I think that was the turning point for me. Really, was when I made the song Red Coat on my Destroyer album, my debut album. And that song was autobiographical about me, dreams that I have, how to interpret them, and then it really just, you know, fictional story but becoming autobiographical, and that is the biggest way that I feel like I've experienced like the awakening to the darkness and the lack of naivety that was holding me back from really understanding the world that I was walking through every day, you know, because there was things that I was so naive to, and this is things that my grandfather would always teach me to not be naive, that there was darkness in the world, but I never really understood it because they sheltered me. And that's the biggest way. That's the biggest way, is just not knowing in general that even people possess so much evil, you know, let alone a lot of the things that go down in the world. So it's been something that's really given me a sense of purpose. You know what I mean? A sense of purpose, because I feel like I was sheltered for a reason, and it's given me almost a superpower of like, in a way I still don't see the evil if I don't want to. So I can move through things very neutrally. You know what I mean? And very fearlessly. Like a lot of things, people are thinking about what could happen, what might happen, you know, who might do what and how and things like that. And for me, I have a very optimistic setup in my brain that was almost created from that upbringing, you know? So, but the naivety though, the naivety is countered by that, you know? So.
And so it was through the art that you're expressing things that are so almost subconscious darkness, but then as a result of making the art, you're processing that and integrating it.
It was almost like I didn't know I was more interested in the feeling of it because I had there was a lack of it.
Interesting.
You know, like I dove into even thinking about that album Destroyer, like Destroyer. It's a full like it's the whole cover's red and it's got my face on it in black and I'm just like it's so symbolic. Like it's wild how we paint these pictures of our lives.
So it's almost like you grew up like Joseph Campbell wise. You grew up on the farm with the the great or the grandparents there nurturing and then at a certain point the cave is out there beyond the woods and it's
Right.
like, ooh, what's in that cave? That may be something to explore. And then artistically I find myself by exploring that cave
Right.
much more than I do just, me
Tending
being
to
at
the farm.
peace tending to the farm.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. That's me.